In 1997, a senior intelligence contractor filed an internal report that was immediately classified at the highest level. The report had one subject line: replacement viability for high-influence cultural assets. That report doesn't officially exist. But 3 researchers independently obtained fragments of it through FOIA requests over a 12-year period. Each request came back 94% redacted. But the fragments that survived, those fragments tell a story that once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. This is that story. Before we go into the cases, you need to understand why this would even be necessary. Why would anyone need to replace a celebrity? Think about what a truly famous person actually is. Not as a human being but as a geopolitical asset. A celebrity with 50 million followers has more direct daily influence over public behavior than most elected officials. They shape what people buy, what people believe, how people vote, how people feel about themselves and the world. That kind of influence doesn't just disappear when a person becomes inconvenient. When they start asking the wrong questions. When they threaten to use that platform in a direction nobody planned for. The influence is too valuable to lose. So you don't lose it. You preserve it. The human being becomes secondary. The face, the voice, the persona, that's the asset. And assets can be managed. Now here's where the science comes in. And I want you to pay close attention to this part because this is what separates genuine research from conspiracy theory. There are exactly 4 physical characteristics that cannot be surgically altered to match another person. The first is ear geometry. The full 3-dimensional shape of the human ear, including the tragus, the antihelix, the exact curve of the concus, is as unique as a fingerprint and cannot be replicated through surgery. You can reshape the outer ear slightly. You cannot change its fundamental architecture. The second is the orbital bone, the bone socket surrounding the eye. The distance between orbital centers, the depth of the socket, the angle of the superior orbital ridge. These are set in bone. Bone does not change after age 25 without fracture and surgical reconstruction that would be immediately visible. The third is the philtrum to lip ratio. The distance between the base of the nose and the top of the upper lip, in proportion to lip width. Fillers change volume. They do not change this ratio. And the fourth, the one that actually started this entire investigation, is involuntary blink rate and pattern. Every human being has a unique blink signature. The frequency, the duration of lid closure, the micro-movement of the brow during blink, these are neurologically controlled. They come from the brainstem. They cannot be consciously overridden for more than a few minutes. And they do not change over a lifetime unless there is neurological damage. With those 4 markers in mind, let's open the case files. Case 1. I'm not going to use names in this video. Not because I'm afraid. Because the moment I use a specific name, that becomes the story. The name gets denied, the video gets flagged, and nobody looks at the actual evidence. So I'm going to describe the evidence. And you're going to recognize exactly who I'm talking about. And more importantly, you're going to look it up yourself. Because what you find with your own eyes is more powerful than anything I can tell you. Subject 1 is a musician. Globally recognized. Active for over 3 decades. Known for an extremely distinctive physical appearance that became iconic. Angular features, unusually pale complexion, very specific eye characteristics that were discussed extensively in media throughout the 1980s and 1990s. In 2004, something changed. Not gradually the way humans change. Not the way aging softens features or illness alters weight. The ear geometry changed. Specifically, the upper helix, the fold at the very top of the ear. In photographs from 1998, it curves at approximately 40 degrees and sits within 4 millimeters of the skull. In photographs from 2006, that same measurement is 8 millimeters and the angle is closer to 55 degrees. Ears do not do this. The philtrum to lip ratio changed by a measurable 18%. Not the lips themselves, the ratio. The structural relationship between nose and mouth. And the blink rate. I pulled 14 separate interview clips from 1986 to 2001. Average blink interval, 5.2 seconds. Consistent. Distinctive. The long slow blink this person was known for. I pulled 9 interview clips from 2007 to 2019. Average blink interval, 2.8 seconds. Shorter blinks, higher frequency, different neural signature. Same person. Calendar says yes. The biology disagrees. Case 2. An actor this time. Someone who became one of the most recognizable faces on Earth through a specific film franchise. You know the face. You grew up watching it. This case is different from the first because the change didn't happen slowly. There's a 2-year gap, 2009 to 2011, where this person almost completely disappeared from public life. Press cited personal reasons. Medical reasons. The explanation changed 3 times in different interviews. When they returned in 2011, the orbital measurement had shifted. I want to be precise about what I mean because orbital shifting sounds impossible. And you're right. You cannot move orbital bones without catastrophic reconstructive surgery that would leave someone unable to work for 18 months minimum. But the shadow pattern changed. If you photograph a face under identical lighting conditions at identical angles, and I did this, frame by frame, same angle, same light temperature, the shadow cast by the orbital ridge follows a specific geometry unique to that person's skull. Before 2009, the shadow falls at 34 degrees from the inner canthus at standard overhead lighting. After 2011, 41 degrees. 7 degrees. That's not lighting. That's not makeup. That's not weight loss. That's a different skull. I'm going to move through the remaining 9 cases more quickly because I want to show you the pattern. Not just the individual data points but the pattern across all 11 subjects. Because here's what nobody talks about. If this were random, if these were just coincidences of surgery or weight change or bad photography, you would expect the anomalies to be random. Scattered. Different kinds of changes on different people. But that's not what the data shows.